This man used the tears of a child to attack this country. The press secretary's voice cut through the stunned silence of the briefing room. Now, President Trump is going to show you the truth. Jimmy Kimmel tried to hide. The camera lights burned like an interrogation. All eyes fixed on the screen, where a lie was about to be dismantled, piece by painful piece. The day began with a television segment and a calculated deception. On his late-night show, Jimmy Kimmel, wearing a look of practiced sincerity, leaned into his desk. "Last night," he said, his voice dripping with sorrow, "we obtained some truly disturbing footage from the southern border." The lights in his studio dimmed, and on the massive screen behind him, a grainy, shaky video played, clearly shot on a phone. It showed a small girl, no older than 6, sobbing behind a chain-link fence inside what was obviously a Border Patrol facility. Her face was streaked with dirt and tears, her tiny body trembling with grief. The clip was short, brutal, and edited for maximum emotional devastation. There was no context, no explanation, only the raw, heartbreaking image of a suffering child. Kimmel let the image linger in the air, his audience murmuring in sympathy. He shook his head, a master of performative empathy. "This is the result of President Trump's cruel family policies," he declared, his voice rising with indignation. "This is what happens when you treat human beings like political props. A child, alone and terrified. This is the America President Trump has created." The segment was a masterclass in manipulation. By morning, it was more than just television. It was a firestorm. The clip, titled "Trump's Cages," became the top trending video across all major platforms as news anchors played it on repeat, their expressions grim. Online celebrities and activists shared it with furious captions, demanding justice. By midday, hundreds of protesters had gathered outside the White House, holding signs with the pixelated, tear-streaked face of the little girl, chanting, "No hate, no fear, immigrants are welcome here." The pressure reached its peak at a televised town hall that evening, where President Donald Trump stood calm and composed as a woman from the audience. A teacher from Virginia took the microphone. Her voice shook with raw emotion as she said, "Mr. President, I'm a mother. I saw the video today. That little girl, she could be one of my students. She could be my own daughter. How can you sleep at night knowing your administration is doing that to children?" The audience, primed by a day of outrage, erupted into applause. Trump waited for silence, his expression unreadable, then responded not with anger, but quiet strength. "Thank you for your question, and thank you for your passion. What you felt today, every American should feel when they see a child in pain, but you were lied to. The media and people in Hollywood used that little girl, and they used your good heart for a cheap political attack." Making eye contact with the room, he continued, "I'm launching a full investigation, and I promise the American people, deception that targets our children and our brave border agents will not stand." His words weren't an attack, they were a vow. Yet the media quickly mocked his response, with Kimmel airing a follow-up segment, sarcastically wishing Trump luck with his fact-finding mission. But the next afternoon, the White House briefing room was packed, the air electric with tension, as the press secretary stepped up to the podium and said crisply, "Good afternoon. As you all know, yesterday a video was circulated claiming to show a child suffering under the care of U.S. Border Patrol. I'm told a certain late-night comedian found it particularly compelling." The press secretary said dryly, prompting a few reporters to chuckle, sensing the opening salvo. "Let's all watch it again, shall we?" Behind her, the screen lit up, with Kimmel's segment, the grainy footage, the crying child, and the room fell silent as it played. When it ended, her expression was like stone. "Heartbreaking, isn't it?" she asked rhetorically. "It's amazing what you can do with a 15-second clip and no integrity." She clicked a button. "Now let's watch the full video, the one that wasn't edited for propaganda." A new video began. It opened with the same crying child, but this time the camera panned left, revealing to Border Patrol agents, speaking calmly and professionally, to a man being handcuffed. The little girl was crying, yes, she narrated, her voice cold as ice. She was crying because she was being separated from her father. That part is true. The footage continued, now with clearer audio. One agent knelt beside the girl, speaking fluent, gentle Spanish to reassure her, while the other approached the man in cuffs. "This," the press secretary said, "is what Mr. Kimmel didn't show you." The camera zoomed in as the man's backpack was opened and several foil-wrapped bricks were pulled out. "And this is why he was being arrested." A gasp rippled through the press as a photo flashed on the screen. Neatly stacked bricks of white powder. The caption read, 7 kilograms of fentanyl. The emotional avalanche had begun. The father, the press secretary continued, her voice rising with intensity, was a known cartel trafficker. He used his own daughter as a human shield to smuggle enough fentanyl across our border to kill thousands of American children. The very children the people in this room claim to care so much about. The smugness vanished from the press corps. Reporters now stared wide-eyed, scribbling furiously in their notebooks. On screen, the video continued, showing a female Border Patrol agent sitting beside the still sniffling girl. From her own pocket, the agent pulled out a small, worn, brown teddy bear and handed it to the child, who clutched it tightly, her sobs finally beginning to fade. The agent gently patted her back, whispering soft words of comfort. The room was dead silent, only the faint voice of a reporter in the front row whispering, "Oh my God," broke the stillness. "That agent's name is Maria Flores," the press secretary said, her voice now charged with quiet, righteous anger. "She carries her own daughter's first teddy bear with her on patrol, for moments just like this. She is not a monster. She is a hero." She let the image of the heroic agent comforting a trafficked child settle deeply into their minds, but she wasn't finished. "We received this morning," she added, holding up a sheet of paper. "It's a letter from the child's mother, who is in a shelter in her home country. She fled the man in the video, her husband, because he was violent." The letter had been translated. She read it aloud, and the voice of a terrified but grateful mother filled the room. "Thank you to the American agents for stopping him. You did not just save your children, you saved my daughter. He would have sold her, or worse. God bless you for giving her a teddy bear. God bless you for protecting my baby." By the time she finished, a woman from a foreign news agency was openly crying. The final blow landed with devastating precision. As the press secretary gently placed the letter down, she looked up, her eyes scanning the stunned room. "And now, for the last piece of the puzzle," she said calmly. "How did this deceptively edited video make its way onto a late-night comedy show in the first place?" She paused. "Funny you should ask." Suddenly, an email appeared on the screen. From a senior producer at Jimmy Kimmel Live to a known anti-border activist. The subject line read simply, "Video." The body was short and damning. "This is perfect. Just what Jimmy wanted. Make it look sad. Cut out the dad and the drugs. The $5,000 has been wired to your account as promised. Let's make Trump burn for this one." The briefing room exploded. The dam of journalistic impartiality burst into chaos. Reporters shouted over one another. Cameras flashed, and within 5 minutes, the carefully constructed media narrative had been reduced to rubble. The antagonist wasn't just wrong. He was exposed as a fraud who paid for a lie, using a suffering child to smear a political opponent. That night, President Trump didn't hold a press conference or sit for an interview. He did what he had mastered, he posted. Just before midnight, a single image appeared on his Truth Social account, a split-screen photo. On one side, Agent Flores gently handing the teddy bear to the little girl. On the other, a screenshot of the producer's damning email. His caption was a final, viral mic drop. "They'll use anyone, even a child in danger, to score cheap political points. We protect those children from the very monsters Hollywood pretends to care about. Sad. The nation was left stunned. But what do you think was the most powerful piece of evidence that dismantled the lie? The full video, the fentanyl bricks, the mother's letter, or the producer's email? Let us know your take on the climax of this story, and for more exclusive reports that cut through the noise, don't forget to subscribe.